All right. Hi, I'm Bob Weir with another interview of People in the News in North Texas. My guest today is former Flower Mound Councilman Itamar Gelbman, who is running for mayor in the May 1st town election. Thank you, Itamar, for taking the time to address questions concerning our town.
Thank
If
you
you
both
would,
for having me.
please begin by telling us something about your background and your participation in matters affecting the community.
Yes, so I was born here in the States. My family moved to Israel when I was about 5 years old. I grew up in Israel. I served both in the Israeli Defense Forces, the Israeli Army, and the Israeli Police Department. I'm currently serving as an officer in the Texas State Guard. I'm married to Cherise, which is a local veterinarian surgeon, and together we have four kids here, young kids in Flower Mound. For the last a little bit more about our community involvement is for the last few years and up until I decided to run for mayor, I was one of the admins of a local Facebook page called Flowerman Cares. To Flowerman Cares, we help the community. We help the community in many different ways, and I just want to, point a few examples. Just a couple months ago, we joined forces with AJ from Robin's Cleaners to do a food drive for families who have lost their jobs due to COVID. It was very successful, as I think you guys even wrote an article about it. And recently, during the storms, we joined forces with local construction companies, such as Rev Renovation, owned by a local resident named Troy Bishop, and A to Z Construction, owned by also a local resident named Chandler Lawson. And together, we help residents that didn't know where their water wells are, the main water wells to their house, or didn't have the tools to or the key to turn it off. And we did it for them. We drove in the ice and the snow, and our crews and our friends, we all did it for them. And we didn't just do that. We actually helped them We helped in the immediate needed for the repairs. We fixed the leaks and restore immediate water for them right after it defrosted, of course. And it was all done for free. The town residents and Flowerman Cares admins, we paid for that, and Troy and Chandler donated their time and supplies for this. So it was all done for free for our local residents.
Great, great. Okay, Itamar, for those who may not know, what are the duties of the mayor and why do you feel that you're the best candidate for the job?
Okay, well, the mayor is a very unique position in Texas. The mayor doesn't really vote. He votes only usually for tiebreakers, but he sets the agenda. And he manages the meetings, and that's his main job. But like every other elected position, and especially for the mayor, is what that individual makes out of that position. And for example, as the mayor, residents really look up to you. They will contact you before they will contact a council member because it just, the mayor is just a bigger figurehead than a council member. So as the mayor, you should go above and beyond to show presence around the town, meet with residents on regular basis, host events on regular basis, and just be approachable and visible for our residents.
Right. Yeah, and and you're right. It's the more the higher image that a mayor has. So most people who don't really know, they think that the mayor just runs the town, makes all the decisions in the town. So it's good for them to be educated about that. Um, if you're elected mayor, what issues would capture your attention first?
So let me correct you first. Is when elected mayor, one of the first priority is I want to make sure that the resident know we work for them. As somebody that's very involved in politics, I'm kind of tired of having elected officials that think that we work for them and don't work for us. So I want to make sure that our resident know that our town elected officials and our town staff are here for them. And one of the biggest issues that I've had and I've heard from, since day one I moved to Flower Mound is the permitting process. The permitting process for anybody who wants to upgrade their house, renovate their house, just really upgrade their property is a hassle. It's a big hassle. So one of my biggest issue that I want to tackle and I'm going to hit the ground running is overhauling the permitting process and make it more user friendly, more efficient, uh, and more transparent for our residents.
Oh, so you mean, for example, like code enforcement, like if a person wants to make a change in their house, they have to have a permit or something like that? Is that what you mean?
Correct. So, for example, if you pretty much anything you do, you need to have a permit. So, if you want to change a front door, you want to build a pool, you want to fix your fence, you want to have an addition to your house, it's a very almost like secret process in Florida that a lot of contractors don't want to deal with Flower Mound because it's just a hassle. They don't. So we have a lot of residents that just don't know how to do it and how to get it done. And we have a lot of contractors just not willing to deal with the town of Flower Mound. And that's not a good name to have. And it hurts our residents. I want to see our residents expand their properties, make it the beautiful efficient the property, making it more attractive, and putting money in the properties, making the values go up, and this way we attract more residents and better quality to our town.
All right, during the past few years, Flower Mound has grown substantially with new residents and businesses. Do you think the growth has been an asset or a liability for the community?
Well, I got mixed feelings because we need to grow, right? You can't live in the past all the time. But I do think that we outgrown our original master plan and our smart growth plans that were put in place. And it's creating major issues on our town, because when you plan a town, you don't plan a town for the next 5 years. You try to plan the town for the growth for the next 20, 30, 40 years, or even until the town is fully built. So when you start building roads, but then you have council members keep changing the plan, the master plans, and the adding density, our roads and our infrastructure just didn't know how to deal with that. So I do think we have at least an issue of liability on the town, and we have approved, our former council have approved way too many apartments that I don't think we can handle in Flower Mound, and it's just not the right development for Flower Mound.
Okay, speaking of growth, the 2,000-acre Jack First Ranch in West Flower Mound is working with the town in planning a large mixed-use development on the land, bringing homes, apartments, office space, restaurants, retail stores to the area. Are you in favor of the proposed project?
So the Jack First Ranch is located on 1171 and 377, major roads. And I think it's the right place for commercial development, because we can attract, residents from Argyle, from Roanoke, from even Denton or North Lake, and then their money is going to be spent in Flower Mound, helping us with our taxes. And I do think there's definitely room there for development. I would like to see a lot less apartments right now. I think it's about 4,000 units that they're planning, but I would like to see a lot less apartments, more green space, more parks, more trails, more stuff that fits the mission statement of Flower Mound.
Okay, how about this? Tell our viewers about some of your accomplishments when you were on the Flower Mound Council.
So during my tenure on council, I'm very proud on a lot of things we did, but just to give you a small short example of the stuff that we did, is one of the first things we did is we co-authored, updated, and improved our tree ordinance. I also sponsored one of the toughest anti-sex offender ordinances in Texas. I stopped eminent domain on an elderly woman's property, and I was able to stop 2 government subsidized apartment projects from developing in Flower Mound.
Okay. We were talking about the growth and the density in the town. Do you see traffic congestion as a serious challenge for the town?
Yes. As I mentioned earlier, the former council have approved way more apartments than what our infrastructure and road can maintain with the growth of the amount of residents that those developments bring in. And it takes a toll. It just takes a huge toll on our roads and our infrastructure. And I want to make sure that having said that, I do believe, and I will work diligently to make sure that Morris Road stays as a 4-lane. I know a lot of people brought up that due to the growth, they need to expand Morris Road, and I think it would be a huge mistake. and Morris Road needs to stay a 4-lane road.
Two of the largest developments in town are the Riverwalk and Lakeside DFW. Were you in favor of those projects?
So here's the issue. I think we had a sad missed opportunity on the Riverwalk. The Riverwalk project, as it was presented in the beginning, I think it will be an amazing attraction in Flower Mound. I think having Flower Mound pretty center in the Metroplex and kind of like between Denton and the southern part of the Metroplex, we could have had an amazing attraction there to bring people from all over to spend their money in Flower Mound. And I'm disappointed. It turned to be mostly an apartment building project, and the office buildings kind of like disappeared from there and slowly being chipped away. I'm hopeful that finally we'll have some restaurants there. I'm actually I'm a carnivore, so I like to eat a lot of meat. And I just last week I think they announced they're going to open a Brazilian restaurant over there, and I'm looking forward to see that. Regarding Lakeside, I think Lakeside has been developed nicely. Of course, some issues are there, but on the overall project, I think Lakeside has been pretty successful and good. I have a lot of friends that live in Lakeside, and they're very happy with that. They're happy that they can still live in Flower Mound, but walk to a restaurant, go watch a movie, or leave their car and walk down to drink coffee or have ice cream afterwards. So I think Lakeside is developing really, really nice.
Yeah, I agree. I've always thought as I see Lakeside developing more and more, it gets better all the time to me. I mean, I think it's a great attraction in this town. Let me move on to finances. Is Flower Mound in good financial shape?
So not really. As a town, yes, we still have a AAA bond rating, which is a great bond rating. It's actually the best, which means we're paying our obligation, right? We're not missing payments. But if you dig into the budget, you see that we have some scary setbacks there. That, for example, this year's budget, we're at $12 million deficit, which is a major increase from last year. And also our debt obligation grew to above $11 million. It's about $2 million increase from previous year. So we are taking more debt, and we are in bigger deficits. So sooner or later, it's going to catch up on us. So we need to address that as soon as possible.
Itamar, what is the approximate size of the town's budget?
It's about the $200 million between the different funds. We have 4 different funds there, and it's about $200 million.
Yeah. Okay, let me move on to I want to ask you about TERS zones. The tax increment reinvestment zones. Generally speaking, what's your opinion of those? So
I'm a limited government type of guy. Every time the word tax comes up, I put my guards up, and I'm not a big supporter of tiers. And let me explain a little bit more what tiers is, because it's very complicated for the average Joe to really understand what it is. Because you have the word tax, and people get scared when they hear tax. Tiers is more, it's not an increase of tax, but it's a tax overlay district kind of style. So what it does is it collects the tax from that area, and it just maintains the tax from that part of the town. So, for example, Lakeside wanted to do a tiers district a few months ago, and it got denied. But if it would been approved, the taxes that they've collected under tiers in that area will only service Lakeside. So anybody else that lives in Flower Mound will not have any benefit from that funds, because it will only serve Lakeside. And with that comes more bureaucracy. It has more costs. For example, we need to have more different accounting. We have to have an oversight of those funds. So I'm not a supporter of that. I support less bureaucracy.
All right, we're coming down to a close. So is there anything you'd like to add before we end this?
Yes, as I said earlier, the mayor position is an important position. It is the person the resident really look up to. You want a mayor that has a track record both in voting and of community participation, and one that takes pride of the town. I'm the only candidate running for mayor who have actually voted in town's election. Uh, None of them has ever voted. I'm the only one that has a proven track record for helping our residents. If it was to stop eminent domain, or and I forgot to mention earlier, while being on council, I helped a local, a Flower Mound resident, double amputee Purple Heart recipient to get a totally free home, smart home from the Gary Sinise Foundation. So I'm actually, I got the paperwork. I made calls from my friends at the Gary Sinise Foundation, and we got the rolling of that movement, and we got him a free home, totally free. He did not pay a dime for that. Or if it was raising tens of thousands of dollars through our Facebook page, Flower Mound Cares, to buy food for families who've lost their jobs during COVID, to pay rent for single moms. And we even paid it forward to tens, if not hundreds of residents to keep local restaurants open during COVID. And if you go on Flower Mound Cares, it's really well documented. There's tons of videos of business, small business owners and restaurants and people that have participated. If it's local resident that have chipped in to donate, deliver food for people that either had high risk and didn't want to leave the house through COVID, or families that have lost their job, and we delivered food for them, again, free of cost to them, just through us, through community, and to the local residents that were just amazing supportive. And the last thing I want to mention is, vote for Itamar Gelbman. Go on my Facebook page. It's pretty easy to find me, Itamar Gelbman. You can either call me. My cell phone is 214-799-0222. As I said, you can contact me on Facebook, or you can email me at Gelbman, the number 4 FM, like Flower Mound, at gmail.com. So Gelbman 4FM at gmail.com, or my cell phone 214-799-0222, or to Facebook.
Okay. Well, okay, I guess the next time I see you, Itamar, will be at the April 8th Flower Mound Forum. So
Yes, sir.
I'll be the moderator for that. So I want to thank you for the interview and wish you good luck in the election.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.